So in immunology section, let's talk about first we have to differentiate between innate and innate immunity, and then adaptive immunity, because I have seen two or three minimum two question on the U word for regarding the innate and adaptive immunity. So first one, in innate immunity we have the cells, neutrophils. For adaptive immunity we have simply T cells, B cells and antibodies. But in innate immunity we have neutrophils, macrophages, then natural killer cells, then we have complement, and some enzymes, and then barrier, skin epithelial barrier. Regarding skin we have dendritic cells, and then we have dendritic cells, and last one, physical barrier, secreted enzyme, natural killer cell, dendritic cell, and the monocytes. Yes, the monocytes. And secretions in adaptive immunity we have immunoglobulins, and cytokines. And in innate immunity we have the secretions of enzymes, proteolytic enzymes, and lysozyme, then we have the complement, CRP, complement proteins, and then defensin, then and also cytokines, especially interleukin 1, 12, TNF alpha 1, 6, TNF alpha. Innate immunity is genetically, or its germline encoded means it is heritable. But the adaptive immunity is not heritable. In innate immunity we have the resistance, which is constant from one generation to another generation. But in germline, in the adaptive immunity, we the microbial resistance, and we develop adaptive immunity from different microorganism. And what is the mechanism? Then we first expose to some organism, then we develop memory cells, and then T cell and B cells, they kill that pathogen, and then we have the memory cells along with the T cell activation, which memorize that antigen and its exposure, and know how to defend the body from that pathogen if the body is re-exposed. So it's exposure based response, and memory cells are involved, which give a robust response. But in the innate immunity we have the mechanism, toll-like receptor. This is the MCQ which I did talk about previously. Toll-like receptors, or we can say CD14. So this toll-like receptor has some pattern recognition proteins or pattern recognition receptors, which recognize two kinds of DAMPs and PAMPs. So in DAMs, it's a damage associated protein, like the damage phospholipid, DNA, etc., etc., and the PAMs, and the DAMs, damage associated molecular patterns and pathogen associated molecular patterns. So these patterns, like LPS, like damaged phospholipids, sorry, phospholipids, LPS, and then viral proteins, viral nucleic acid. They goes to this PMR, pattern recognition receptors, and which activate toll-like receptor, and which gives acute response of activation of the net nuclear factor kappa B protein, and which releases cytokines, interleukin 1 6, fever, acute phase reactant, TNF alpha 12. So this is overall the mechanism of innate immunity. This is a non-specific immunity, non-specific, and it is acutely or in minutes to hours, and it has no memory cell involved. But in the adaptive immunity, we have exposure based response, robust, it's long term, it's highly specific, and it involved memory cells. Then it's not it's germline encoded. It's not heritably, but it's variation. It has variation, VTJ variation, which differentiate different immunoglobulins B and T cell. And then we have yes, this is all about innate and adaptive immunity. So in the adaptive immunity, we have this T cell, T8 or T4, and then APCs, this kind of response, and it is very much important in our next discussion, that is HLA, gene, and MHC discussion. So after this innate and adaptive immunity, just have a look on this. After looking upon this adaptive and innate immunity, we have a base of this MHC or HLA gene, MHC discussion, and HLA subtypes. So now we have a ground. We prepared the ground basis of the basic info regarding the in adaptive immunity. Let's discuss MHC and HLA, major histocompatibility complexes 1 and 2, and its subtype and associated conditions.